Welcome to the MILSET World Virtual Summit 2021. The International Movement for Leisure Activities in Science and Technology, MILSET, has organized this great event for all of you. And the idea is to gather international organizations, institutions, corporations, ministries of education, and all people who are interested in STEAM education. The idea is to have a very great program for you, including conferences, workshops, and special roundtables for MILSET members. Today is our second conference of the day, and we have a fantastic speaker. And we are very excited to being here with you, streaming live from UPAEP University in Mexico, from the convention center of this university. Thank you for the support of all the UPAEP authorities who have helped us doing this great event. Thank you very much to everybody. Welcome, welcome all of you. Welcome to the participants of the World Virtual Summit who are in this conference room. Welcome to all the people who are watching through MILSET Facebook and MILSET YouTube channel. This event wouldn't have been possible without the support of many people. We would like to thank MILSET Executive Committee, MILSET Regional Executive Committees, UPAEP University, STEAM Movement, the speakers who will support this event, and also MILSET staff, MILSET volunteers, and our special sponsors. Thank you very much for everything. I would like to give the floor to Ms. Beres Suarez, MILSET Managing Director, who will present the speaker of today's conference.
Thank you so much, Liz, and I am so happy to be here and to introduce our speaker that is a very high quality speaker. I am glad to introduce Mr. Jorge Sotomayor, and I will give his free information about him. Mr. Sotomayor started his role as Research Portfolio Manager in the fall of 2020, leading the STEM client sphere within the research. Mr. Sotomayor previously served as a lead Increment Scientist in the Space Station program for 12 years. In this role, he set the day-to-day priorities for the scientific investigations to be performed by the astronauts aboard the International Space Station. The international nature of his program had him develop research plan and coordinating science priorities with his counterparts in Japan, Europe, and Canada. Mr. Sotomayor started his career at the Johnson Space Center in 1998 as the International Space Station Spares Program Manager, overseeing the procurement of the space station spares. He started his NASA career 10 years earlier at NASA Glenn Research Center in Cleveland, Ohio, in 1998, after receiving his master's degrees in theoretical physics from the University of Puerto Rico. He was responsible for contracts aimed at reducing aircraft noise and emissions in the Advanced Subsonic Technology Program. So today, MILSET is really glad to receive Mr. Jorge Sotomayor with his conferences called NASA STEAM Engagement, Resources for Success. Mr. Sotomayor, the mic is yours.
All right. Thank you so much for the introduction, Better, and Liz for all the introductions, and to MILSET for the opportunity and the invitation to talk to all of you. I'm really glad and honored to have the opportunity to talk to you about the NASA resources that are available to you, particularly as they relate to education. So let's get started. at NASA, the Office of STEM Engagement. And one thing I wanted to point out is that at NASA, we are working on that transition from STEM into STEAM. And it's something that we're working on, and eventually we're going to get there. Although at this point, the way that we call it is just STEM. But again, it covers the same items that you're interested in: the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So here at this website, there's a lot of resources available to you if you go to nasa.gov/STEM. And basically the objective is to bring NASA's work to let everybody around the world to know what NASA is all about and how we can help to enhance STEM literacy, particularly with all of the young generations. We want to create those unique opportunities by letting everybody know, engaging the public into those opportunities, so that we can have help grow the next generation of explorers and scientists. If you look, when you go into this website, making things more hands-on, you will see what's at the bottom of the screen right now, and there you can find a NASA STEM information for the younger age group, kindergarten through 4th grade, also for the middle school range from the 5th to 8th grade, and then NASA STEM for 9th to 12th grade. One thing that NASA has done is changed because of the COVID pandemic. We have changed so that these lessons can be applied not only in the classroom, but also the parents at home or the teachers can work with the students at home. And that's why it is called now NASA STEM at Home. So from here, on this website, you can also sign up for get notifications on future programs related to education, and that's the NASA Express. All you have to do is sign up on that link, and you will get information on a regular basis on the programs available to everybody, so everybody can participate. Now, and that's the website, nasa.gov STEM Express. Now, talking about some of the very specific and hands-on things that you can find, one of these opportunities is called STEM on Station. So, and here's the website where you can find it. And basically what's happening is that the space station is celebrating its 20th anniversary, of having a human presence continuously on orbit. So as part of that, and in celebration of that, we have specific curriculum available to everybody, and it's designed, for example, by month. If you look at the screen there, you can see that we have curriculum going from August, September, October, November, December, and then going into the next year, January through May. And each month has a specific theme. And again, all you have to do, go to that website, click on that website, and go to the ISS 20 anniversary. And that's the link, the one that you see on the right, Celebrating Station Science. And from there, you can access all of this information. And one thing that is really important here, or I think it is that all of this information is available to you. You don't have to sign up or anything. You just go in there and you can download all of this information. But the information, it includes specifics with lesson plans for all the teachers, for all the educators out there. Each one of these months has multiple lessons on a specific subject. And each one of those lessons includes the lesson plans that you will have to produce for the students. So one very interesting, I was looking at November. If you look at November and human research, under human research, there was one topic about bone loss. And bone loss, as you know, the astronauts, when they're in space, they lose a lot of their bone mass at a much faster rate than what they do here on the ground. Well, this lesson teaches the students how to use algebra equations and linear equations to calculate that and compare bone loss in space with the one on the ground. And again, all the lesson plans are included, and as well as the description of what is the science behind it and what the students need to do. And this is all really good. I mean, great information. Now, this one is called, like I said, STEM on Station. There is another one, which is called STEMonstrations. And I apologize, we need to get more creative on these names. But STEMonstrations, this one comes from the demonstrations, demos in space. And this one is kind of similar, but this one has specific videos. So these are videos that were taken aboard on the International Space Station to demonstrate different principles, scientific principles demonstrated from space. So, and again, the intent is to help develop all these, the next generation of scientists, of space explorers right here, right now. So these demonstrations include classroom connections, and which are hands-on activities that you will learn from the video. For example, this video, the one that I copied here, Newton's first law, we have an astronaut on the ground describing what it's all about, the description of the topic. But then we have videos from astronauts aboard the space station demonstrating Newton's first law. In this particular case, we have an astronaut demonstrating how a huge camera lens, and I'm talking one of these humongous camera lenses, during the time that the astronaut is showing, the lens is standing still, floating in space. But then as the space station starts doing a booster acceleration, then the lens starts to move, apparently to move, but actually it's the station that's moving. But so the astronaut demonstrates all of this. Now, these demonstrations, again, they come with educators' notes, so that the educators have all of the information there, what they need to know, what is the background behind the demonstration. It shows the links to all of these demonstrations, as well as they provide a student worksheet so that you can provide these to your students and they can follow along and do specific tasks. And there's lots of demonstrations available, and they all have these sheets, spreadsheets, in some cases, to help you along the demonstration. Additionally, we have, I don't know if you remember, Krista McAuliffe. She was the educator astronaut but she unfortunately passed away during the Challenger accident. She had a lot of demonstrations for educational demonstrations that she wanted to show. Unfortunately, because of the accident, she didn't get to space to do that. But we have educator astronauts that have done those demonstrations, the same demonstrations that she intended to do. Now we have demonstrations that did them. Specifically, we have Ricky Arnold and Joe Acaba, and they were both teachers before they became astronauts. So we have those demonstrations being performed by these educator astronauts. These are really very interesting as well. We also have, let's say that in school, and you want to know what's going on station at any time, or let's say that you're going to do an experiment, fluids experiment, a crystal growth experiment, a plant growth experiment, and you want to compare that with research going on or at the space station at that time, or research that has taken place in the past aboard the space station. So you can go to this Space Station Research Explorer, which is an app that will show you experiments that are going on at the time, as well as historical experiments. And you can search by the specific topic of interest. And here it will explain what has happened. And it shows applications both for space travel, as well as how this information, this science that is taking place, can be applied here on Earth. So again, it's very, very interesting. It's really cool information. Then we have more hands-on experience. And this one is called Science Resources. And here in this case, when you go to this website, you're going to have, I think it's about 25 different resources, different apps that you can tap into. And basically, I'm going to give you some examples. This one called the Aurorasaurus is one where if you live in an area where you can see the aurora, you can go in and log in that you have seen the aurora, and then the scientists here, they keep track of the aurora and how it comes down, how far south it comes, or and the time of the year. Another one is very interesting with asteroids, the fireballs in the sky. Fireballs in the sky. That one actually, the students or you can sign up, and whenever you see an asteroid, you can identify the location where you saw it. So you can have this team of scientists can have a map, and again with the help of citizens, fellow citizens. Another one that's very interesting is Planet Hunters, and with Planet Hunters. This one, I'm sure that most of you have heard of this technology used to detect exoplanets or planets outside of our solar system. And as basically they're doing with looking at a star through a telescope, let's say if there's a star, whenever a planet flies, orbits in front of the star, the light that we see coming from that star takes a little bit of a blip. I mean, it decreases a little bit. So, but there's hundreds of thousands and hundreds of thousands of data that needs to be reviewed. So in these Planet Hunters, the students and the general public can go in and help search for these planets outside of the solar system. And again, really a very interesting stuff and hands-on experience for the kids. We also have Sally Ride EarthCam, and with EarthCam, basically the students can take pictures from the Earth from the International Space Station. Basically, what they do is they will direct a computer that's on the space station. They will direct the coordinates that they want to take the pictures of, and they can relate this data from earth science and other disciplines. For example, the students can monitor how the areas are changing in terms of the lake, water levels, forests. They can see how the forests have been changing over the years. Sally Ride EarthCam, it contains a huge database of pictures that have been taken over more than 10 years. 10, 20 years. So they can actually have this information and compare over the years how it has changed, as well as information from other satellite data. The next mission is coming up very soon. That's mission 76, coming up on November 3rd. And over the period of a week, about 5 days, the astronauts are going to set up the camera looking at the window and then towards Earth from the space station, and the students will order the pictures that they're looking for, or request those pictures. The pictures are taken automatically by the camera after the astronauts have set it up. This is all of the things that I have mentioned are completely available to anybody, and they are absolutely free of charge. So there's no strings attached. You can just go in and sign up for all of this. And actually, we've had some really interesting tweets from information that has been taken with the EarthCam program. So I encourage all of you to, if you have these with your students, and you can make a project out of this in terms of different things that you can evaluate using this data. Another way that the students can connect to the space station and the crew is just going to this website. The expedition that is currently aboard the space station is Expedition 65. So they can go into that mission webpage, and it shows, it provides an overview of the objectives of that mission for these crew members, the upcoming events, and then you can also look for information about all of those crew members. As you can see, we have a lot of people there on the station right now. What is that? 3, 6, 7 astronauts and cosmonauts altogether. And we're expecting to have even more as we continue with the commercial crew vehicles arriving, not just astronauts or cosmonauts, but also the private vehicles that will be bringing more astronauts to space. So it's a really interesting time for space station program. You can find out more about what the astronauts are doing, what their interests are, or pictures that they've taken by going to each of their astronauts' Twitter accounts. And I'm listing them here. And we have, as you can see, astronauts from the United States, from Japan, from Europe, as well as the 2 cosmonauts that are there. Now, another way, and again, all of these resources are available to all of you. If you want to find out, or you want to take a look at the space station when it flies above your city, just go to this website, and there all you have to do is enter your city, the name of your city, and it will tell you when will be the next sighting opportunity to see the space station from your city. Really interesting, really cool. It's a very, very bright star. What you're going to see is like a bright star, brighter than the planet Venus here in the northern hemisphere. And for example, I have here, I printed out a copy of the next sighting opportunity in Paris. So Jean-Claude, if you're listening, you have a very good opportunity coming up on October 27th. I'm sorry, 26th. If you look at that. No, that's tomorrow. Yeah, October 26th, 7:06 in the morning. So that's still a good time. And you will be able to see the space station fly above Paris for 5 minutes at an angle of 71 degrees. So that means that if you're looking at the sky, it's going to be very high in the sky, and it's going to last, in this particular case, for 5 minutes. So again, this is something that you can look at, not just for yourself, but also get the students motivated that and tell them what it's flying above them. The previous page showed the people that are living aboard the space station at this time. So all of those people are going around, and when you see that, those are the people living on the space station. So again, it's really neat to have that information available. We have another way to get in touch, again, with the space station program, and that's through the Storytime from Space. Storytime from Space is an activity where the astronauts read usually children's books to an audience. All of those readings are recorded, and they are available to everybody on this link. So all you have to do is go in, and again, especially for the little ones, for the little kids, they will get a kick out of it. Very recently, we did one in collaboration with Australia and their National Reading Day. So we read the book from the space station, and at the same time, there were activities going on the ground. In this particular case, the book was about a little girl that wanted to fly, get away from Earth. She was tired of the Earth. She wanted to go somewhere else, and then she started traveling other planets, and she found out that there was no life on the other planets, or, for example, Mars. It looked very deserted, and then she realized that the treasure that we have on planet Earth. And when she came back from her travels in space, she made it her mission to protect the environment, the resources, the forests, the water, and become more protective of the Earth. So again, a very, very interesting book. That's the most recent one. But again, we have dozens of books and in different languages as well. Another way to connect, and this is even a more direct way to connect with the astronauts on the space station is through ARIS, which is the amateur radio on the International Space Station. All you have to do is go to this link, and usually what would happen is that you would look in advance, and I emphasize in advance, you can find out, you can apply to have this a session where the students can ask questions to the crew members live aboard the space station. It usually lasts about 10 minutes, and it is a very competitive process, so it requires an application in advance. But again, and the connection is made through ham radio, and we have connections all throughout around the world helping out with that connection. Now, imagine, let's say that an upcoming ESSI Expo Science International coming up in 2023, and MILSET decides that they want to do this, and they want to have students right there ask questions to the astronauts on the space station. So then all they would have to do is start the application process so that it can be done by that time. For that time, there's plenty of time. For that activity in 2023, there's plenty of time. But if you're interested in doing something in 2022, then you need to go into this website and send a question so that you can get more information on how to apply. But if it's for an event in 2022, you need to move very quickly to get it done, because it takes several months, and the application window is not open all the time. It's only open a couple of months of the year, according to the region that you're interested in. But again, really, really interesting to have something like this. And I mentioned a very large event, the Expo Science International, but the regional conferences can also take advantage of this, as well as the schools. So again, it's a matter of just going in there and sending the application, because that would be a fantastic opportunity, and it's very impactful. Another thing that we have is what's called Space to Ground. Space to Ground is just a weekly update of what is going on aboard the space station for that week. So again, you can start your Monday at school with your students. All you have to do on Monday, just turn this video. It's usually about 2 to 3 minutes long. So it's a very short video, but it tells you what's going on the space station for that week. And again, really inspirational, very, very interesting to see what is really going on right at that time, at that moment. And then we move into National Laboratory. And again, the space station is a national laboratory. What that means is that we have private industry that can use those resources and make them available to their customers. So through the Space Station Explorers, the intent is, again, to connect students to the station, and it's done by helping design, build, launch, and even operate those experiments on the space station. So here's where you can get, and I've told you many things that you can do, and again, all you have to do is go into that website, and that's it, and click there, and you're done. And here there is more of those activities that are done through the national lab side of the house, if you will. But again, it still has additional lesson plans for the teachers, educational programs, different educational programs, activities, during the COVID era that you can learn and practice at home. So it's got a lot of information that is available. And in this particular case, again, we're going through commercial entities. So many of these items are free of charge. Some of them will require a specific fee. But again, for the basic things, more standard things, if you will, there's no charge for them. But now let's say that you want to take it to the next step, to the next level. And you can do that in different ways. You can bring it up into different stages where you have, for example, let's go to the next one, to teachers in space. And this one, and yes, we can send teachers to space, but also it talks about things that are available for teachers through this company called Teachers in Space. What they do is they launch different experiments. They launch experiments in air balloons using the Blue Origin rocket, and even all the way to the space station. So they have different opportunities for things to do. Again, like I mentioned, the altitude balloons, where you can send experiments using through that mechanism, or you can use the Blue Origin New Shepard. In this particular case, these experiments are not going to the space station, but they are going to space for a duration of about 2 hours. So again, as you can see, there are different stages, different levels that you can go up. They also offer training for teachers, actually, for science teachers. So they have special camps that you can participate in. And if you're interested in any of this, Liz Koenig is the president of Teachers in Space. She was a teacher herself, and so she's definitely very knowledgeable of all of these in this field. If you want to continue to the next step and you want to send experiments to the space station, we have a company through the National Lab, that's called Alpha Space. And for example, this company, they can send your materials, let's say you have different kind of materials that you want to expose to the space environment. So you can do that through them. They will stay for somewhere between 6 months to a year, it could be even longer, exposed to the exterior outside of the space station. And then after that term is over, you get your samples back. And again, for example, in this particular case, it shows, and there has been a lot of research in paint materials, degradation of different materials and covers and protective material for space rockets, for instance. So you can do this. And one example, this is very recent, the students of the Unidad Educativa Javier in Ecuador, they delivered radish seeds to this company, to Alpha Space. Alpha Space took those seeds and they took care of everything for them. And that's the one thing of all of these companies. They take care of all of the logistics that you need to do in order to get something to space. So they actually took the seeds, got them on a flight. On November 2nd of 2019, the seeds flew to space, and they were there for about 14 months, and they came back this year in January after being exposed to the space environment for about 14 months. So those seeds were returned to the students in Ecuador, and now they're going to plant those seeds and compare them with other seeds that remained here on the ground, and see how compare the two growths, see how they differ. So again, this is all different, very interesting science for them. And this was, by the way, the first time that a school in Ecuador sends an experiment to the International Space Station. So they were thrilled about that, and with good reason. So if you want to do this, contact this information, Alpha Space, and they'll be able to help you with that. We have another opportunity, and again, all of this is through the National Lab, DreamUp. And DreamUp, actually, they have their headquarters in Abu Dhabi. And DreamUp, they do, again, the same thing. You can do research in space. They use the Blue Origin to send experiments to space, not to the space station, but to space. And they can do the low Earth orbit, what we call low Earth orbit experiments. Then they can go all the way to the space station. And what they do is they do everything for you. They pack your experiment. They take care of all the permits required. Of course, everything has to be safe. It's going to the space station, which is inhabited by humans, so it has to be very safe for the humans living there. So they take care of everything, and they bring your samples back as well. You can also do, they arrange a rocket launch for your school, for your students, or you can also partner with them and create some kind of competition or a contest where the regions, let's say a regional, one of the regions decide to get an experiment, to select one experiment out of however many apply or submit applications, and you can select one, and they can help you define the entire process from beginning all the way to end, beginning with how to configure the contest, how to get it into the International Space Station, and then how to bring it back and deliver the results to the students. And again, this is what they do for a living. DreamUp is in collaboration with NanoRacks, and actually NanoRacks, they're going to build a new space station, commercial space station, by the year 2027. So again, and DreamUp will be helping NanoRacks to get educational experiments to this new space station in 2027. But before that, they are a very active participant, one of the biggest participants in getting experiments to the space station, educational experiments. One example here is they helped configure a contest of answering the question, if you could help astronauts be healthier in space, or if you could affect somehow the future of space travel, what would you want to do? So the winner of the contest was actually two young girls, young students, Olivia and Sophie, that they thought, okay, if coffee inhibits the growth of a bacteria, Streptococcus mutans, so they wanted to check if it really helped in microgravity. So they they did the experiment, and they were selected actually to send the experiment in orbit. And again, DreamUp, this company specifically, they help them all the way from beginning all the way to launching the experiment. And for that, like I mentioned, they are headquarters in Abu Dhabi, but again, they have NanoRacks, the parent company is in the US. And with that, I've given you ideas of things that how we can help develop the next generation of explorers, the next generation of scientists. And like I mentioned, NASA, we value that very much. We strongly believe that this generation, they are our future, not only here on Earth, but also to take us to the next steps, to the next milestones. So we want to do anything that we can to support that development. And now I'm open for any questions.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Jorge. As usual, it's a fantastic information for all of us who sometimes need resources to motivate students. And it's great to know where are these resources, because we know NASA has a lot of information. It's a huge amount of information, and having this guidance will be very useful for all the people who are watching us. So we're going to start with the question and answer section. So we will start with the questions from the conference chat room in Teams. So if you have any question, please just raise your hand, and we will give you the mic to ask directly a question. If not, just write it on the chat room, and we will ask it directly to Jorge. Please start raising your hands. I will start with the first questions that I had on the chat. Good. So the first one is from Sarah Kim. What is NASA's commitment to sharing scientific material that helps you out to motivate young people around the world? Sarah, would you like to open your mic, or Jorge can answer directly? No? Okay, Jorge?
I'm good. Yes, definitely. We are strongly committed to provide that information, those resources to the public. Our intent is to make that available. And actually, if you go, I mentioned that website on space station research, and it's an app that you can go in there and look for the information that you're interested. You can do a search in general for whatever information you're looking for. For example, kidney stones in space. You know, that has been a big issue. Imagine the astronauts having a kidney stone when they're traveling to Mars. That would be really bad. So we've done a lot of research on that, and that research is available to the public. You can go in that database and look for historical information of what is available there, as well as you can do a general search on your, you can Google, use Google or whatever your search engine is of preference. And you can find a lot of information on that. And our scientists are also available not only through their publications, they've made a lot of publications that are open to the public, but also they're more than willing to do additional collaborations, looking for additional answers, to these questions, to these problems.
The next one is from Sophie Rendom. Do you want to open your mic or read the questions? Okay, I'm going to read the question. So it says, what educational projects or programs can be accessed at NASA with university students, and where can I find the information?
Yes, we have lots of programs. Let me give you an example. We're restarting this program for computer science to actually design code that to control satellites that are flying inside of the space station. They're called Astro B satellites, like the bees. They're called just like the bees. So we're working with through MIT University in designing this program so that the students can participate into these kind of competitions. And again, it is a competition where the students will be working over the year on developing their code, for instance, in this particular case. And then they will continue with their competition until the final, I believe it's 10 schools will launch their code, send their code to the International Space Station, and the astronauts will run the code to control those satellites in space. Before that, all of the teams, and we're talking about hundreds of teams from around the world, they will be testing their code on the ground through computer simulation on the ground. We have somewhat a similar program with Japan. It's called the Kibo RPC project. And again, they're also working with students to design code to program these satellites in space. We have, through the educational STEM research programs and the link that I gave you originally, you can find additional information there on how to access these programs. Also, on Friday, my colleague Kelly will be talking from NASA also. She will be talking about additional programs that are available to students, and one in particular that she's responsible for. She's the principal investigator for that program, where again, students come in and work on developing these different tasks. But again, go to the STEM website, that original website link that I provided, and there's ways to collaborate there.
Thank you very much, Jorge. And what about
Most of the material that I showed you there is absolutely and completely free. You don't even have to sign up. You don't even have to say your name. You just go into these websites and you download the material. All of those lesson plans. By the way, my wife is a teacher, and I know how hard she works in getting those lesson plans ready for the week. So all of these lesson plans are available free of charge. So now, don't go just doing space for the entire semester. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. But but that information is right there, is available, and it's free of charge. Now, the ones about sending your experiments to space, or having a seminar for teachers, like Teachers in Space, and that seminar that they can provide, a workshop only for teachers. Those require funding, and sending the experiments to space requires funding. But here's the thing. All of these national lab companies, they are endorsed, and they receive funding from the U.S. government. So what you see is not the rate of that you would have to pay to send, let's say, your seeds of a plant to space, like the school in Ecuador, they did. What you will see at the end is a subsidized rate. So because the United States government is helping these private companies to move forward and growth and to grow that low Earth orbit commercialization. So those require funding, but most of them, I would say 90% of what I showed you, does not require anything. It's totally free of charge.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jorge. Well, the last question, and then we'll go with the greetings, because we have a lot of greetings from the audience. It's, do you have a student program at NASA where they can work directly with NASA engineers and astronauts?
Yes. We have programs that it's called the Pathways program, and that one, and again, NASA being a U.S. Government agency, it has some restrictions. I have to say that there are some restrictions about citizenship, but there are ways where we can work with the different entities, whether they're in the United States or outside of the United States, where we can work with those students, and we can connect the scientists from NASA with students outside. But so there are ways that we can do that. It requires additional. NASA has actually specifically specific agreements with several countries around the world to facilitate this. So with those countries, it's easier. Countries outside of that, then we'll have to get creative and ways that we can connect the scientists on one end with the scientists and the students on the other end. I hope that helps answer.
Jorge, I don't know if there is anyone else in the chat room from Teams that wants to participate. Please just raise your hand, and we will open the mic, or just send the question in the chat room. And meanwhile, I would like to read some greetings from the audience. We have Marilu from Spain, Mrs. Boriana Kadmonova from Bulgaria. We have also people from Chile saying that they are very happy with the conference. We have people from Czech Republic also greeting you. And
fantastic, thank you.
Same a lot of people from Brazil too. Well, we have many countries. I would like to say thank you to all the people who are watching us from Mexico, the USA, UK, Germany, Argentina, Chile, Brazil, Puerto Rico, Canada, Ukraine, Bosnia, Ireland, Croatia, Slovakia, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, Ecuador, Uruguay, Paraguay, South Korea, Macau, South Africa, Latvia, Morocco, Belgium, and more countries that are joining the meeting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Wow. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening.
Perfect.
That's
Okay.
fantastic.
So we have from Guy and Duz from France also congratulating Paola Gonzalez. Well, a lot of greetings. And if there is no more questions in the chat room, we will end the conference, the fantastic conference. Thank you very much, Jorge. As always, a pleasure to hear you, to learn a lot about NASA and what are you doing there. And we're looking forward for the next conference too. So thank you, everybody. And please don't forget to watch the next conference, which will begin in 15. Claudette Munoz from Lego Education. So don't miss the next conference and the program for tomorrow conferences and all the week. Thank you very much. If you need to check any schedule, please go to summit.milset.org, and there you will find all the program of activities. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jorge. Thank you to all the members of the chat room. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to see you all. Thank you.